Well, hello, everybody. Jessica Coulter here. We are officially talking about organization some more, and we're focusing on routines today. All right, we are focusing on habits. Okay, so before we go too much further, I want to know, before I spill beans and share my thoughts, what do you see as the connection and the difference between routines and habits for your teens? Let me know down below. First thought that comes to your mind, are they the same? Are they different? How are they different? And I also want to tell you, as we get going, as you're sharing those thoughts, that I have an awesome freebie for you called Learning Style Tools for Teens Guide. Be sure to drop the word learn down below so I can send that your way after the video. And also know that this isn't the last video of the series. So we'll talk about we're streaming later, but do know that we're not done talking about organization yet. So I'm here to help you and your teens figure out the system that works for your teens. Okay, so let me grab my notes because you'll remember from yesterday. I love my whiteboards. All right. Hopefully, you've shared your thoughts about habits and routines. I'm going to tell you that what I teach the students I work with in my Love to Learn study program is this: habits create good things. Okay, habits are a result of routines. Kind of lost my train of thought there for a second, if I'm honest. So do know that your teen does something, a thing, and the more he does it, the more consistent your teen is with it, well, that becomes a habit. Okay, so routines lead to habits. Okay, so we need those things that your teen is doing to be good things. We need them to be useful things. We need them to be efficient. We need them to actually accomplish whatever it is your teen thought he was accomplishing by doing that thing. Okay, so that's point number one I want to make when it comes to routines and organization, is that your teen creates habits when he's consistent with his routine. That's why it becomes so important that we figure out, okay, how does your teen need to get organized? Okay, what is it that your teen needs to use, school supply, learning tool wise, to create these systems, this organization? And it also comes down to, okay, what are those actions that your teen needs to take to be organized? Okay, one of the simplest things when it comes to routines and habits for your child who's trying to get organized is this thing called a backpack, this thing called homework. Okay, your teen, where does that backpack go? As soon as your teen comes home, as soon as your teen is ready to go to bed for the night, like, where do those things go? Because if your teen is just always throwing it by the front door, and he does that a couple weeks, couple months, it's going to become a routine, which is going to make it a habit. So your teen thinks, okay, well, my backpack just goes somewhere by the door, and that's its home. That's its place. Okay. But if we want your teens to be more organized and develop the habit of, okay, the backpack needs to go on the hook by the door. It needs to go to the kitchen table because that's where I do my homework. It needs to go up to my room. Okay, whatever the habit is, your teen needs to develop a routine that is a good routine. That is what you want. That is what your teen needs to make sure it goes along with organization. Same thing goes with your teen's homework. Okay, what is that habit going to be? Is it that your teen just throws loose papers in his backpack? Or is it going to be that he uses his folder? Because if you remember, yesterday I showed you all these plastic folders that I highly recommend, the ones with the brads in them. And the thing is that I don't think I said yesterday, I don't want to give too much away on my Love to Learn study program, but do know those plastic folders with brads, they make amazing homework folders. They even make amazing planners. Okay, so one of the biggest things I can tell you when getting your teen organized, and if we're talking about routines related to homework specifically, we want your teen to get into the habit of having a homework folder. So if there's any type of homework assignment, paper that gets handed out in class, anything paper that gets done at home that then needs to be turned in at school goes in that homework folder. So that way your teen knows, okay, this is the one place I need to check as soon as I get home to see if I have homework. This is the one place I should check every single class to see, oh, is there something to turn in? Now, obviously, a lot of assignments are online nowadays. You've got Google Classroom and Schoology and Canvas and all those things. But the same idea applies. Your teen could easily write something down that tells them, hey, there's something to turn in online in, Canvas and whatever. And he could write that down and put it in the plastic homework folder. Or your teen could even create some kind of homework folder on his desktop, on his server, whatever it is. Okay. So let's talk about this some more. Why routines matter so much to organization. Before I do, I want to say thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching on Facebook. Make sure you're a follower, make sure you're a subscriber so you don't miss future videos about organization and the other study skills I'll be covering here on Ace Cookie Tutoring. Because if you're wondering, okay, who is this person? Who am I? Well, I'm Jessica Coulter, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring and Study with Jessie. I help teens love to learn by teaching them how to learn through study. That is the biggest point. I hope that you understand the entire series by organization is that your teens need to know how to organize, not only because it's an essential executive functioning skill, an essential study skill, but it does impact your teens' ability to learn, let alone his or her love to learn. All right. So, what else do I want to tell you about routines before we wrap it up? Well, do you know that part of why we want your teens to have routines and part of the reason your teens need to have habits of organization is so that there is not a whole lot of decision making going on, that it becomes muscle memory. It just becomes the thing to do. Okay. Like we talked about, if your teen comes home, throws his backpack at the door or in the area, that becomes the habit. That just becomes, a neural pathway literally in your teen's brain of this is how we do this. But if instead it gets to the point where your teen knows, I put the backpack here, I put the homework here, I check this first, I write this down, well, guess what? Your teen does that consistently enough. There's no decisions happening, which means there's not a whole lot of resistance happening because it's not a, man, I need to do this, this, and this, so I should do that, or maybe I could start here. Nope. Your teen just does it because he's supposed to do it. He knows that's his thing. That's what your daughter knows works for her, and that's how she's always done things. And I gotta tell you, the cool thing is these habits our teens develop. Well, if you've got a child in middle school and we teach your daughter how to get organized now, well, unless things change dramatically with your teen or school or something in your child's life, those habits are going to need to be organized. So, how your teen gets organized today, those habits, those routines she's developing are going to still be in place even after your teen's done with school. So, I hope this helps. Do you know organization is possible for every single teen out there? So, mamas, if you're watching this and going, you should see my teen's room, Jessica, or wow, let's talk about my teen's locker. Do you know organization is a learned skill? That's why we're diving into it this week. So definitely consider the habits, those routines that your teen has when it comes to organization. If your teen doesn't have any, totally understandable, not surprising. Or if you think those habits need a serious overhaul, understand that too. So would love to talk to you, to your teen one-on-one. Feel free to schedule a talk with Jessie or join my group on Facebook called Teaching Teens to Love Learning. And final thing, remember, I have that awesome freebie. It's a great place to start. If you would like it, the Learning Style Tools for Teens guide, drop the word learn below, and I'll send it your way so you can figure out how your teen learns, what's his learning style, and those tools, those school supplies that match your teen's personal learning style. So have a good night. Talk to you soon. And if you've got questions, I'm here to answer them. See you tomorrow for the last video all about organization. Bye, mamas.